Some words that I wanted to share, just some thoughts I had last night before I share a poem. We were told a ceasefire had been achieved, but as usual it is a lie. As Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur, said, Palestinians cease whilst Israel fires. There is no end to genocide. There is no end to illegal occupation. No end to the illegal siege. Still insufficient aid getting in. And winter is approaching. There is no end to apartheid, and there is no end to brutal settler colonialism. Now, there have been so many violations and updates to cover, which we just simply wouldn't have the time to share. So I've just collated from yesterday a couple of updates and facts from Palestinian journalists on the ground, and it really is just a couple. And I just want to credit Shamin Suleiman for these. So this was from yesterday, posted at 6 o'clock. And this is from Gaza. The Director General of Hospitals has confirmed that Israel had deliberately destroyed the Turkish Al-Sadaqah Hospital, Gaza's only functioning cancer facility. The strike rendered oncology units inoperable, cutting off treatments for dozens of patients. Explosive remnants left by Israeli forces continue to endanger civilians. 2 children were injured in the Al-Nasser neighborhood after one such device detonated. Demining specialists have warned that Gaza has become a dense, unmapped minefield with thousands of unexploded bombs buried beneath homes, streets, and farmland. Experts estimate that full clearance could take between 20 and 30 years. Yet still, Israel blocks the entry of scanning and disposal equipment required for humanitarian clearance operations. And as I say that, I just want to remind people that when, I think is it last week, I don't know, each day seems to roll into another at the moment. It's difficult to keep track of time. But when Israel, Netanyahu, had claimed that Hamas had violated the ceasefire conditions, I mean, a nonsense given all that had happened. One of the reasons he gave was because they were not able to give back to the Israelis the hostages that had been killed. But what they failed to say is that they had forbidden any equipment that would have made that even possible to go through the rubble to take out those bodies. And this is a reality because Gaza is being pummeled to the ground. So it's really important that we remember that when they stop, when they block entry, they're blocking entry to things that they say that they actually want. A similar detonation occurred on Jallah Street in Gaza City, injuring another child. As a consequence, authorities have renewed calls urging families to keep children away from suspicious objects and report all findings to civil defense hotlines. And it's important to note that Israel has created booby traps for children, things that look harmless, that children might be interested in, so that when they approach them and pick them up, it explodes and kills them. It's really important for us to be aware of this. Civil defense have urged displaced families not to shelter in bomb-damaged buildings. Despite desperately needing shelter, warning of sudden collapses as winter rain erodes weakened foundations. The latest collapse was on Al Sinar Street in Tal al-Hawa. Several children narrowly escaped death. Officials have called on families who have been able to set up in tent camps to reinforce their shelters with plastic sheets, secure stakes against coastal winds, and dig drainage channels around tents in an effort to prevent flooding. 2 residents wounded in earlier airstrikes during a ceasefire succumbed to injuries at Al-Shifa Hospital yesterday morning. Civil defense retrieved the body of a Palestinian killed by an Israeli quadcopter drone near Sheikh Zayed Towers, north of Gaza City. That's from Gaza, and this is from the West Bank. Just remember, these are just updates from yesterday. Israeli settlers torched several Palestinian vehicles in Deir Dibwan, east of Ramallah, in another act of coordinated vandalism carried out under military protection. At dawn, Israeli forces launched simultaneous raids in Al-Khalil, Tulkarim and Nablus, arresting at least 6 civilians amid violent home invasions and property destruction. 15-year-old Mohammed Abu Hanin from Asker camp died from gunshot wounds inflicted by Israeli troops Thursday night. Human rights groups have stressed that minors continue to be targeted even after the declared ceasefire. And I can add to this that not even internationals are safe. A Jewish American journalist, Jasper Nathaniel, who had witnessed an old woman being beaten unconscious by a settler, resulting in her being hospitalized, was lured, along with Palestinian olive farmers, into an ambush by Israeli soldiers. They had believed that they were being led to safety, only to discover that they had in fact been lured towards around 100 armed illegal settlers before the Israeli occupying forces left. Footage online sees Jasper and the farmers fleeing for their lives as they were beaten and cars set on fire. When Nathaniel called the US Embassy in Israel for help, he was told they couldn't protect him, despite him being an American citizen. And let us never forget, because this is the excuse that is always given, there is no Hamas in the West Bank, but the violations continue as they have done for over 8 decades. So no, nothing has changed, and this is why, exactly why we must continue to come out, to continue to support boycott, divest and sanction, continue to support non-violent actions until the apartheid state is dismantled and international law is implemented.